Do you ever finish a day or conclude a day and wonder where the time went? Like, you look at your day and your productivity level and you are not satisfied at all, and you're wondering, what did I do this whole time? Been there, done that. So here are a few decisions that will help you save time. Living on principle. I know most people don't like living on principle because they call it being uptight, but it works for me. It really does work for me, and I don't have to think about some decisions so much, especially when it comes to finances. I'll use the budgeting as an example. So personally, if I have drawn my budget for that month and it is already done, and someone approaches me with an impulsive decision, or an impulsive something that I need to spend on, that decision is quite easy for me to make, because if it doesn't fall within my budget, then I am not doing it. I am not spending on it. So it saves me a lot of time. Secondly, making no your default answer. Sometimes we receive different and many invitations to do different things. Sometimes it's for work purposes, sometimes it's for social life, and sometimes you really don't have to be there. It's not necessary for you to be there, but because someone ambushed you. And by the way, be mindful of people who ask for things in public. Those who think everyone is a people pleaser, they try to take advantage of that. So be mindful of such people. But what am I trying to say is that when you give no as your default answer, it saves you a lot of trouble. It saves you from doing anything you wouldn't have wanted to do in the first place, and it also saves you time. And I attest to this because there's a time I double booked my day. Like, I had 2 different meetings that I had agreed to at the same time in different locations, which was so poor of me. But from that day, I decided I make my default answer. So when someone is asking for a meeting, be it a client or whoever it might be, I tell them, you know what, I need to first look at my schedule. And that has really saved me a lot of time. Financial decisions, finances. Automate your bills or investments. I remember mentioning this in one of the videos I did a few years ago about how to save, and I mentioned automating your saving. So when it comes to finances, to save yourself time, automate the bill payments and the investment monies, and also embrace internet banking. Gone are the days when we had to physically go to the bank to make a transaction. No, we are out of that now. So embrace internet banking, save yourself time, save yourself that fuel, save yourself all that traffic you would be in because you're going to the bank to make a small transaction. Use the bank apps. Embrace internet banking. Even if you don't have the app, there's internet banking, so you can do that to make your transactions, pay your bills without moving out of your house. I mean, I can do all that from where I'm seated right here, and everything is done. So that will save you a lot of time. Call your friends and family who are doing house chores. I used to have a habit of, when I think about calling someone, let's just say I was a poor communicator, I would think about calling someone at that time but I'm doing something. So I would promise myself that after I'm done doing this, I'm going to call that person and then get to talk to them. And that will never happen. that would never happen. I don't know how many times I have wasted money with that kind of mindset, because I would convince myself when I'm done doing this, I'm going to call, and then at the end of the day, the calls would even expire because I totally forgot to call this loved one of mine or this friend. So I changed that. I call people when I'm doing something, when I'm doing chores. The moment I think about it, I plug in my headset and I make the call, whether I'm doing dishes, whether I'm cooking. And I do this a lot when I'm driving, when I'm going somewhere. I put in my headset. Of course, I have to be safe on the road. I put in the headset, make that call, and then get to talk to my loved ones, to all my friends and family. So I don't waste time just sitting down doing one thing, or sitting down just to call someone. I call them while I'm doing something. Like, I hit two birds with one stone, which obviously saves me time. So you could think of adopting that as well. It will help you save time. Use time blocks. There are peak times in everyone's life. There are times that you specifically know that at this time I am very productive, and then there are those times that you clearly know that you have zoned out. You are in the office, but you already left, you already home. It's only the body that is still in office. So use time blocks to be more productive. Like I've said before, personally, I start my day top heavy. So it's quality over quantity. So use time blocks. Know your maximum. What do they call it? I'm forgetting. Your maximum. Okay, your attention rate. You need to know your attention rate. Like, for how long can you be really attentive at something, and then you zone out. So I use time blocks. I can sit on my machine and concentrate on something for 2-3 hours without getting off or without resting. And then you get to rest and resume working, instead of just forcing it when you're not actually paying attention. So use time blocks. If you're out, your mind is exhausted, you need to rest, then sit and rest. And then just rest. Just rest. Don't multitask. Don't force yourself to work when you're actually exhausted, because now you're losing time twice. You're not being productive, neither are you resting. So time blocking works so much. It will save you a lot of time. You can dedicate 2 to 3 hours to working, and then half an hour or an hour resting, then do the same for the other hours. That will save you a lot of time. Meals. Let's talk about meals, especially my ladies. You need to come close. Because meals can consume a lot of time. Like, when you look at the amount of time it takes to consume that meal, and the amount of time that goes into preparing that meal, you start asking yourself, but who made this? Who came up with this whole eating thing? Because the time doesn't balance. The time ratios don't balance. But personally, what I do, I shop in bulk. I don't go to the market on a daily, which saves me time. And the other thing that also helps is having a menu. If you have a menu, you'll get to know you easily know your way around shopping, which saves you a lot of time. And personally, if at all our power was reliable, I would be batch cooking, and then I'll just warm. But I don't trust our power. I don't trust Umeme. Anytime they'll switch it off and you already batched cooked, Now, me and my family, we are a family of 2. I cannot batch cook and count on us eating all the food at once in case power chucks. So for me, what works for me is that I do shopping on a weekly. I shop my groceries for the whole week once a week. So it saves me time, because I don't have to go out on a daily. It saves me fuel, and it saves me finances, of course. So that works for me, and it saves me time, because As I'm working and it's time for cooking, I just go to the refrigerator and grab whatever I'm cooking that day and get on with it, instead of first moving out, thinking blah blah blah, you know what I mean. So that as well saves me time. And lastly, clothes. Let's talk about clothes and closets. There's nothing more time consuming than uh, thinking and deciding what you want to wear. When it comes to clothes, I advise prepping like whole week clothes. If they need ironing, iron once. I usually dedicate like 2 or 3 hours to do the ironing, especially for hubby, because I have a lot of clothes that are free, but this is what I'd advise: iron once for the week and save yourself time. So when it comes to dressing up, time for dressing up, you're not thinking about what am I going to wear, does it need ironing, and that day in case power has jacked. Like, that saves me a lot of time. And the other thing I would advise is buying neutral outfits. Those are easy to play around with. For instance, pants, you need to have like dark colored pants, several dark colored pants down that you can easily blend with any bright top or any neutral top up here. And if there's need for a jacket, you just throw on a jacket and you're good to go. And that will save you a lot of time of sitting back and thinking, what am I going to wear, what am I going to wear, what am I going to wear. If you're open, you could try the Mark Zuckerberg option, whereby he buys the same thing, different numbers, like one color t-shirt. Whenever he wakes up, he just puts on without thinking, wears the same thing all through. But why would you do that? Life doesn't have to be that boring in the name of saving time. Just buy several outfits that you can easily play around with, and that will save you time. Otherwise, that's all I had for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't joined the family, please consider joining the family by clicking the red button below. And if you haven't shared this video with a friend or family, please share it. You might be the one person who will change their life. And I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.